It's time to check your money with America's money maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Vicki, how you doing today?
Doing wonderfully, George. How are you doing today?
It's always good to see you, sister. I might have to start saying with our special guest, Vicki Brackens.
Listen. We will work on that over and decide what we have to do over the fall. But here's the main thing. Since you mentioned it, George, is I have to stop and say that you and Mr. Jennings are starting to become quite an item.
Okay.
Quite an item on the radio every Sunday.
Listen. We trying to do something up in here.
Yes, you are, and you are succeeding very nicely. I'm telling you a little story. I had a couple in my office. As you know, Mike's my partner. And we work together a lot there in the office. And Mike was attending the meeting, and they said, "Michael Jennings, you're the one on the radio." And I went, "Ooh, you didn't say Vicki Brackens was the one on the radio 25 years. You said Michael Jennings."
Michael Jennings. How about that?
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But we're having as you mentioned, it's a nice day. We're having a glorious summer. I think one of the nicer summers because we've had, even though it's been at times pretty toasty, I'd say all in all, this has been a really, really glorious summer.
And I want to go back to Mike for a second to say what I love about that is the intention by which you said you wanted to bring other people along. Here he is, a young Black male who found his way into the business and now doing financial advice in the business. And so I just want to recognize that you said, I want to do this, and it's coming through fruition. And so coming to fruition. And so shout out to you and identifying that and making the point that there's other opportunities in this particular industry that you're encouraging people to consider as they look at their options, especially at a time like this. So,
well, George, that was a handoff that I wasn't expecting, but since we are here, let's stop and take advantage of this for a moment. I wonder if we should have, meaning Brackens Financial Solutions Network, a career night or career day or career segment. So what I'm going to do is say this. I want you to kind of let that, what's the word? Ruminate?
Marinate
a little bit.
Ruminate.
Yeah. Okay, marinate a little bit, because here's some things that we do know. The industry of financial services, financial planning, wealth management has a very distinct personality. It is very much male. It is very much white. It is very much old. Because the average age now of a financial advisor is about almost 60 years old, which means there's going to be a transition that's going to take place very soon, where we are going to either not have enough advisors, or we are going to just basically watch the industry die off. I do not want either of those things to happen. And in surveys, we have found that individuals are saying very clearly that they want to still maintain and appreciate and do better with individual financial advice, where they have a trusted advisor, someone to work with them on a one-to-one basis as far as accomplishing their goals, making sure that their investment modeling is in the right framework, and move forward as far as accomplishing their retirement goals. That being said, it means that we need more financial advisors, and we need more financial advisors who have a wide breadth of experiences and diversity within the field. So if you are interested, you don't have to say, I want to do this, but just interested in learning more. I need to know how many people would really want to learn more so I can decide whether or not we should have a career afternoon or tea or coffee, something on a more formal basis to talk about this career, because it is very complicated to get into the business. It takes a while. There's a lot of training involved, but you need to understand what those steps are, not at the time that you want to become a financial advisor, but at the time when you're making decisions in your education that are going to lead you to this at the highest level possible. There's my plug, George. Okay.
There you go.
All right. So if you are interested in at least thinking about this, drop me a line at info@Brackens, Brackens, FSN.com. That's info@Brackens, FrankSallyNancy.com. All right. So that was an unexpected area, but I'm glad that you brought that up because it's something that it has been on my heart for a while. I was talking about the fact that this has been a glorious summer.
Yes.
I have to take a moment here though and say thank you to all the people in the listening and viewing audience who have been sending their thoughts and prayers and well wishes to my wife, to Earlene Jones, who's been ill for a while. And we really, really appreciate it. It has been a challenging time for us. She's getting better. But we really want to make sure that we say thank you publicly to everyone because I tell you every time I tell her that somebody is thinking about her, I can see it in her eyes how much she appreciates it. As you know, though, in January I became a member of the board of directors of Crouse Health.
Yes.
Here in Syracuse, New York. I never knew, and you think about this, George, when you join a board, most of your activity is very academic. You're reading reports, you're listening to committee reports, you're talking about policy, things that are necessary but are far removed from the day-to-day activities that are happening with the institution that you happen to be charged with on a fiduciary basis. But when you spend 3 weeks with an institution,
okay,
you learn a lot. Okay?
You do, sitting right up in there, right?
And that's what it has been. Yes.
Okay? Yes.
3 weeks, day in and day out, morning, noon, and night, learning about Crouse Health. I am so happy. I said, take me to Crouse.
Okay.
I am going to plug this. Okay,
at this point,
it has been such a pleasure. As far as what and most people don't know, because I don't walk around and say I'm a board member because I don't want them to know. Not necessarily I don't want them to know, but I don't want that aura. I want to see what was really happening. The people at Crouse are tremendous. The staff is tremendous. Every place you turn. In fact, I was getting into an Uber. Going to church. In fact, last week to when I was coming up to Bethany, and the security guard said, "Ma'am, let me help you with that." And the Uber driver said, "I never see that any other place except Crouse. People here are so accommodative and really care about the individuals who are there." Now, I'm not saying everything is perfect. All institutions have things that we can do better. Every individual has things that they can do better. But I must give a shout out to the 4th floor Memorial Wing, to all the nurses, to all the staff, to the individuals there in food service. Food is good. Food service, all the social workers, and especially to all of the what we call hospitalists and nocturnalists. I learned a little word, nocturnalists, who are there, who have been providing exceptional care to Ms. Jones and exceptional support to me. I learned something else too, George.
What you learn?
Here's what I learned as a caregiver. Because I've had a secret, what I would call a secret agent who's had her hand on my back, trying to make sure that I stay standing strong throughout this. And she told me this: 50% of the caregivers die before the people that they give care for because they don't take care of themselves during the time period that they're doing caregiving. I said, oh. Okay. That is something, Kay, that we need to
that is a wild,
wild statistic.
Okay, like we're not gonna play that off. That's wild.
No, that is wild. Okay, in fact, I'm sure that once this all settles out, I'm going to have Miss President Townsend, okay, which most of you know, Kim Townsend over at Loretto. I want to have her on to really talk about the stresses and strains of caregiving, so that we can start looking at the systems that we need to put in place to make sure that our caregivers are equipped to provide care on both sides for those people that they love and for themselves. when she gave me that statistic, it made me stop and think about all the things that are necessary for the individuals that we represent also as far as our financial planning clients in the issue of caregiving.
So
All right.
there's a lot
Yes.
more to it than just so, because when you talked about caregiving, immediately I went to and the financial impact of that. But
Right, but there's a lot more to it.
there's a lot
Okay.
more to it than that.
Okay.
And I
Because
know
we
that even there's some, I forgot what the name of the place here in Syracuse is, but there's a respite for caregivers. And I can't think of what it's called, but
David's Refuge.
it is David's Refuge. That's what I thought. Okay. So it is David. Yeah, exactly.
David's Refuge.
I
Mr.
said,
Jennings
is
happens
David's
to be a board member of David's Refuge. That's why I know David's
right?
Refuge
Well, you
well.
know, I said, is it David's Refuge? Just like, no, that's not it. Well, it is it. Yes,
It's
yes, yes,
David's
yes.
Refuge. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And
So
it's all of these things. It's amazing to me, George.
did you
All
book your
these things
weekend
coming,
yet?
yeah, starting to connect. Okay. But you mentioned I've spent years really working with individuals on the financial aspects
Right.
of caregiving to make sure that we have the finances in order. But there is so much more. This has been such a learning experience for me to really see at a deeper level. And I'm sure there's much more to learn because this has been a very compact time period over this last month, but really to make sure that we understand the process of caregiving, understand what's necessary, but more so, we need to come together as a community and as a country. I'm going to put this plug in and look at our healthcare system and what we have missing or have missed in comparison to some of the other industrialized nations and what we can do better, especially in the support of caregivers and homes and individuals. All right. I also know that there have been a couple of things in the news.
Yes.
While I've been away. Well, I haven't been away. I've taken, but what I've have the
you
last
haven't
time
been
I was on
away.
air,
You haven't been on the air. We
I
have
haven't been
not
on the
chatted.
air. I
Yeah,
have been
yeah, yeah.
away.
You out here. You around.
I'm around all the time. Okay. Okay. So we have had the passage of the big, beautiful bill.
Is that what you call it?
That's what it's called, the big, beautiful bill. Okay.
I call it the big ugly mess.
The big, ugly mess, the big, beautiful bill. Okay. Okay. The legislation passed.
Yes, it did.
Okay. We are still trying to unwind. I'm not going to tell you that, okay, I have all of the answers concerning that. What I
Right.
will say is this. Every week, in fact, sometimes daily, 2 or 3 times a week, a little more and a little more is revealed as far as the background or the implications of the big, beautiful bill. You've got 2 choices, everyone. Stick your head in the sand and say, I just can't deal with it. And a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm tempted to do that many times a week. Just can't deal with it. Okay. Or stand up straight and really pay attention to what this means for you, your family, and your community, and take action to prepare for the financial implications and how they're going to impact and affect you. Work with your financial advisory team to really understand what adjustments need to be made in order for you to not only survive, and you're going to be surprised here, George, but possibly thrive through some of the new legislation that is part of the big, beautiful bill, because there are tax implications that will cause some levels of strengthening of economic activity. We may not be happy about where it's strengthened, but it will happen, okay, throughout the economy. All right, here's the next thing that's happening, and the big thing that's been talked about over and over again. Interest rates. In fact, I had a meeting, I don't know, less than 2 hours ago, and the first thing was, do I think interest rates are going to go down? It's like a 50-50 question. They will go up, they will go down, but the question is when. All right. Interest rates right now are around as far as mortgage rates, and this is primarily the question, because in fact this morning on CNBC there was a long conversation about the fact that when interest rates go down, we do expect, or at least it's looking like, it's almost like you got a big schlag concentrated in a pipe, and the rate of home sales and the rate of increase in home price has sort of slowed down and gotten really sticky. But with the anticipation that when interest rates go down, that the activity level again with around home sales and pricing is going to accelerate in such a way that the next leg of unaffordability might happen again. Because there were a lot of people who were waiting in the wings, saying as soon as interest rates go down, I'm going to start purchasing or look at purchasing a home. All right. So when will interest rates go down? Interest rates will go down when the mandate that the Federal Reserve has becomes obvious, that the Federal Reserve feels that it's obvious that the mandate can be maintained, which is full unemployment, which is around 3.5% to 4%, and inflation at 2% or 2 to 2.5%. That has not become obvious yet because much of the activity from the tariffs is still out there because the delay in the date as far as the implementation has delayed the impact that we anticipate with tariffs. As it stands right now, from looking at the notes, there is a possibility that there will be at least 2 rate cuts this year. More so somewhere around the last part of the third quarter, early part of the fourth quarter, and then early on in 2026. But there's no guarantee. I'm not saying there's a guarantee. I'm saying the notes are indicating that, and the market is starting to position itself around that. But the economic activity has been really strong, George. Have you noticed?
Yes.
Okay. We are not necessarily dragging our feet, and we are fortunate, I'll say it again, to live in upstate New York, because every place, I used to remember, Kathy Dunham. Do you remember her?
Kathy Dunham.
No.
Okay,
she was on the radio years ago. Okay, years ago when I first moved here, Kathy Dunham. Okay, and talking about you never see any cranes in the air. And right. The way to really know if there's economic activity in a community is to see cranes in the air. Well, based on the cranes in the air in Syracuse and Onondaga County, there is nothing but economic activity because you can't cross a highway, you can't cross a neighborhood, you can't go anywhere without seeing that type of activity. So the market activity has been exceedingly strong, particularly on a local basis, and is growing. And even on a national basis, particularly in areas like Texas, Arizona, Nevada, etc. Okay. All right, George, before I close.
Yes.
Those are the 3 things that I wanted to make sure and you added number 4.
Okay.
You added number 4, which I'm looking forward again to hearing from anyone who wants to have coffee with me on a group. We'll see how many people we can get in a group to really have a conversation about what it means to be a financial planner, wealth advisor in this environment, and what the opportunities are for the future. Again, reach out to me at info@brackensfsn.com, or if you'd like to make a phone call, area code 315-930-4499. I'll be happy to say at this point in time, our plate is full.
All right, Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial member SIPC. She is America's money maven.